Oklahoma's Department of Human Services started implementing the Pinnacle Plan, a major restructuring effort to reform its child welfare system this past July. The plan was the result of a settlement of a class action lawsuit against the state regarding failures of its foster care program. A lot of changes have been made in the last 6 months, but the department still has many milestones to reach before the beleaguered agency can say all directives of the 5-year plan have been met.
These children, ages 2 to 6 years of age, are living in the Department of Human Services Laura Dester Emergency Shelter in Tulsa. Many will stay for just a few days or weeks. Some will be here a month. Child welfare workers try to give them comfort and reassurance as they spend night after night away from their homes in this somewhat sterile setting. DHS is working toward a long-term goal of not having any children stay in a shelter, but right now it's one step at a time.
And the first week of 2013, no child under the age of 2 spent a night in the DHS shelter. By June, no child under the age of 6 can spend a night in the shelter.
DHS Deputy Director Amy White says they have been able to avoid placing the youngest of children in shelters by recruiting more foster parents.
So far this year, there are 930 more foster parents than we have recruited in the past. So that's our net gain this year.
She says DHS is nearly halfway to their June goal of having 2,000 more foster families. That milestone is one of many outlined in the Pinnacle Plan, which sets out a 5-year directive to overhaul the state's child welfare program. It's a plan the state was ordered to develop to avoid a court trial over allegations of mismanagement resulting in harm to children while in state custody.
We are more transparent than we were in the past. And if you look at the Pinnacle Plan, one of the things that the Pinnacle Plan says is that we cannot do this alone. And truly, in the area of foster care, there is no truer statement.
I can't let you know.
24-year-old Morgan Weiss is one of many new foster parents who have answered the call to take children into their homes. She saw the need when she was a volunteer at the Laura Dester shelter.
It's not a home. It's supposed to be an emergency relief. So it's supposed to just be if kids get removed from their homes, they go there and then they're placed right away in a home environment.
But the 11-year-old boy Morgan is now fostering stayed in the shelter 2 months before coming to live with her a few weeks ago. Together, they attend First Christian Church in Owasso, where she is an elementary minister.
There's a lot of people in my church that are already fostering or that are in the process of fostering.
Church outreach is one component of the Pinnacle Plan.
We have churches, stakeholders, all kind of community partners stepping forward and helping us to find families. And some of the people, if they can't be foster parents, are stepping up and saying, well, let me help you in a way that we can help your foster families.
While more Oklahomans are making the pledge to foster children, some are not equipped to take older children. In the 12 to 17-year-old category, the wait for permanent placement is an estimated 6 months to a year. Boys of that age at the Laura Dester shelter have dorm rooms to themselves. But when the shelter is over capacity, as they were on this day, they resort to using rollaway beds or cots.
Sometimes matching them up with the right foster home is very difficult because the behavioral management issues become so severe, and there may be medical components as well that have to be dealt with. But that's where our next breakthrough, if you will come in getting placements that are willing, family-like placements that are willing to take older children with more serious problems.
Ed Lake is the new director of the Department of Human Services. He has been on board for just 5 weeks. He reminds employees of that while on listening tours, like this one in Lawton. Lake wants to hear DHS workers' concerns as the Pinnacle Plan and department improvements are carried out.
Yes, that's on the agenda is what our offices look like. Are they overcrowded? Are they dilapidated? And then, rank order those and start to work on changing that.
Support personnel in attendance at the Lawton meeting expressed disappointment over not having a pay raise in 6 years while working at the same pay scale they started at when they began working at DHS 20 or 30 years ago. Lake told the group lawmakers in the new legislative session may not address those concerns.
There's not broad support for just across-the-board increases for state employees. I mean, I haven't been here very long, but I get that already. So the idea is we've got to come up with some other way of trying to address these salary issues.
However, DHS caseworkers who deal directly with children and families were given 7% raises in July. Increasing their pay was dictated by the Pinnacle Plan, which recognized that low pay and a high turnover rate was contributing to failures within the child welfare system. Another Pinnacle Plan objective that has been reached is increasing the number of DHS employees. As of this month, 100 new positions have been filled, but Lake says that's just a start.
We really need to get more people on board. We have to try to address the workload issues because that has a lot to do with our capabilities in other areas.
Providing a continuum of care for children is still challenging.
I had a case, 2 children in my home in August, September, October, who I was their 4th placement in 6 weeks. They were getting ready to get moved again. And I said, I'm not going to have it.
Julie Bailey and her family have fostered 38 children in the past 8 years. Right now, she has 6 young children under her care. Other than a modest increase in their child stipend checks, she says the restructuring of DHS has not yet affected the circumstances she deals with.
Just last month alone, moving kids again. They were in my home 6 days and then they moved them. And I don't understand that. I don't understand how you can look at, and these are babies. In this case, they were 1 and 3.
Julie knows change doesn't happen overnight and hopes the reforms at DHS will ultimately make her job easier. She says it's complicated any way you look at it.
We have a legal responsibility to them, and so there are judges involved. There is a district attorney involved. The children have their own attorney. There's a parent involved who has an attorney. If they are Indian, if they have tribal affiliations, then there is a tribal relationship involved there.
If I've heard one thing loud and clear from foster resource homes, adoptive homes, and other partners in this process, it's that please improve the flow of information and communication with us. And I think that's a major goal we have.
As DHS progresses with reform, Lake hopes the agency gets new respect.
But let's be clear, we won't PR our way to being respected and trusted and regaining credibility. We will have to perform our way there. And it won't be because Ed Lake did anything special. It'll be because the people in this room and across the state performed at a high level, provided great customer service, expressed their caring that I know everybody here has, or you wouldn't be working at this department. But we have to do that consistently on a daily basis until people are convinced that we're different and we're not the big bad Department of Human Services.
But change is going to cost the state. DHS initially estimated it would take an extra $100 million to achieve all that is spelled out in the 5-year Pinnacle Plan. The exact amount DHS needs this year will be revealed when Governor Mary Fallin presents her executive budget to lawmakers.